Hi guys, it's Yvonne from GingerChickRehab. I'm so glad to have you back checking out what Chris and I are up to. So in today's video, I have actually went through some of my last thrift haul makeover videos that end up being over an hour long, and I know that I have a ton of techniques, so I definitely have gotten a lot of comments about there being a ton of techniques and taking it all in, that I've actually taken the time to separate the techniques out for you all. So in today's video, I am bringing you the Elmer glue, well, mine's dollar store, $1.25 store, glue, and how to do Crackle. And I definitely have started from one end of the first time using it to really layering my paint and really loving the Crackle. So I hope you enjoy this video. Now, I love the black on it, but I'm going to go ahead and spray paint it with a fresh coat since I'm going to do a black undercoat to freshen up that wood. My polyacrylic is dry. Do you see that? That is a bottle of glue, not Elmer's, but the dollar store glue. So I am actually going to brush a nice heavy coat of this on the outside of the frame. Now, I've run across this technique a couple times, but I've never tried it. I do like the Crackle. I didn't have any luck with working with the milk paint, and that was a little bit on the expensive side. So I thought, well, $1.25 glue, let's give this a try. So nope, never ever tried this. First time here. I thought this is a perfect project. It's not a lot of wood that I have to do, so I have to put a nice even coat on, but a little bit on the heavy side. You want your paint to have that top layer dried, but not to be dry all the way through. So it just suggested, this is my Pinterest searching, that you take a blow dryer just so that the glue and the paint don't necessarily mix, that there's that outer crusty, layer that will prevent the two from mixing. Then after that, I've got that, what I consider is dry enough, I'm going just with my Kills of Paint and Primer, my favorite white, and yes, I'm just putting a nice heavy coat on, I'm going to say, because this is going to be a one coat coverage. It's going to be, it is what it is kind of thing. You can see as it's drying, it's already starting to crackle, so it is actually working really well. I'm helping it along with the blow dryer. I'm not really sure if you just let it air dry or yeah, I bet it would probably still do it, but I'm impatient and I can't wait to see. So I had the blow dryer on hand. So yes, it is actually working. I can kind of tell where I didn't have it completely even of the glue underneath, but you know what? I kind of like that look. I'll just go ahead and help it dry along, and then I can sand some of the areas. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and seal it in with some polyacrylic after letting it completely dry overnight. Actually thrifted this from the Salvation Army for $4.99. Oh my goodness. And I am low on shelves, so I would like to have one. Anything that I can have on my inventory, to be able to use on my pegboard so I don't have any empty space is perfect. So decided to get this one in with this grouping, spray painting it up black. Yes, I know that it's wood, but the black spray paint works for so many items, and when you only have one item like this, that we're gonna go ahead and spray paint it black and then seal it in with polyacrylic. Now, I don't want to leave this black. I want to show off some of the details. This is a big piece. I kind of envision it white, but I really, when I did those other two wall decors with that Crackle, I really kind of wanted to play with it a little bit more. Kind of like that patina. You learn a technique and you're like, oh, I want to find more things to use it on. So, yep, I'm going to go ahead and paint on a generous amount of the glue. This is just Dollar Tree glue. Elmer's glue works. Somebody commented that another YouTuber was using hairspray, but remember, I am a retired hairdresser, so I'd have to actually go and buy off the counter hairspray because mine is way too expensive to use on a piece like this. So, but maybe sometime I'll give that hairspray thing a try and go see if I can find out how to do that. So, yep, I'm just applying the glue to the shelf. Definitely willing to spend $1 to make this crackle effect. Now I could tell you can see kind of I have some runnage going on there. I might have applied too much, but we'll deal with that later. But I need to go ahead and make a little bit of a crusty top, that way that the paint and the glue are not completely mixing with each other. So just taking a blow dryer to dry it a little bit. And then now I'm going to go in with just Kills paint and primer, and the wall decor that I did, it only took one coat. So I've got a generous amount on my brush, which seems to be covering, and it already, as it's starting to dry, is starting to crackle. So after I got it all on, I'm going in and taking a heat gun to help it dry. And you can see I definitely put too much glue on this time. Oh, well, just wait till it's dry. We can, what do I always say? We can just paint over paint. So yep, I'm just going to help it dry so I can go ahead. But it is kind of fun to watch it crackle as it's drying. Okay, so this is way too much crackle for me, but I'm going to go ahead, take some sandpaper, sand it. I'm not sanding my crackle off. I'm just making sure that my area is nice and smooth, and then I'll go back in with some paint and tone this crackle down. I think a little bit of crackle goes a long way, and I probably overdid it, but like everything, you have to be new at some point, learning something, and I learned from my mistakes, trial and error type of thing. So, and this could be somebody's look that they like, but for me, it's a little too much. But I've got that toned down and the crackle that I think is okay. I'm going to go ahead and de-stress my edges. I really think it's going to tie this whole piece together. And as I'm distressing, I'm going to go ahead, taped off the back so I didn't get any run over. The back's still that yellowy color, but it's nice and clean, and I just needed to remove my tape and sand off that hard, crusty edge where paint builds up. Then I think this is personal. I'm not really sure the glue paint ratio. If that's on there, it's good to go. I just feel a little bit safer sealing it in with some polyacrylic. Have this little duck, and this was from that thrifting weekend. Also, the Salvation Army we had stopped to, if you bought 5 items, it was like $5 or something, $5.99. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna try to find 5 items that I can make over, and this duck was one of them. And actually, at this Salvation Army that was probably about an hour and a half away, we ran into another viewer, and she was there visiting, going to a Christian comedian. So I hope you enjoyed your event. As I'm rambling on here, yep, as I'm just letting the video play, yes, I want to try the crackle technique on this duck. So paint black, sealing with polyacrylic, and now I have just Dollar Tree glue. And it's a little bit on the thicker side because it's down to the bottom of it. Every time you open something up, it starts to dry out. So I added just a little bit of water. So I'm just going to brush it on. I've done flat surfaces, but I have yet to do rounded little animals. I definitely think it'll give it that aged look. So I think the thinner you put it on, the smaller your crackle is. And nope, I haven't tried the hairspray technique so far. This is working out, and I still got a whole nother bottle of glue to work through. This time I just let the glue sit up on its own. I had plenty to do in the workshop waiting for the glue to dry. You just want it to dry just a little bit to have a little crusty top so that it doesn't mix completely in with the paint. So I'm just using my Kills Paint and Primer, which is my favorite white. It's not too bright, it's not too creamish. I love this white, so I'm just going to apply one coat on top of this. I just set this little ducky right off to the side, let it just dry natural, no blow dryer, no heat gun, nothing to accelerate it, and look how beautiful it is cracking. Now I didn't put any of the cracking on the bottom. I made sure that I covered up, made sure my bottom was clean. If I needed a little bit of the ink chalk paint to touch it up, and now I'm just sealing this all in with some polyacrylic. Isn't it funny how one item will remind you of another item that you had stored away that you needed to do? So that little birdhouse reminded me of this big birdhouse that I had thrifted last year that, yes, it was missing a part. So I had been waiting for the part to be able to make this birdhouse over. So actually in the stash of stuff that Kelly gave me, the viewer that gave me all those wonderful gifts, were these finials. Oh my goodness, so I was so excited. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them, but it was late in the season and I wasn't into doing birdhouses anymore, so it got set off to the side. So I have an idea. This is a major overhaul for this birdhouse. So I need to take out the Spanish moss grass that's coming out of these fake holes. So the holes only go through so far. So yes, so I need to try to scrape out as much of that I can. Along with removing what twigs are used as purchase, because there's only half of them there. So I'm going to have to come up with another idea for the purchase. But yep, I need to get as much of this taken out that I can. Now the bottom half of all three of the roofs are not attached. They had little staples that this is a thin little metal that they just went through, and if you lift them up they actually didn't even go into the wood. So I need to come up with another plan. I tried brad nails, I tried staples, but everything just went right through the metal. So I just went into Chris's stash of and I got myself some roofing nails and just hammered them into the bottom. That way it is attached. So now, there we go again. I keep not turning on my camera this episode. So anyway, yes, and now it looks like it's a haunted house, doesn't it? But yes, I'm going to start off with my classic black base sealed in with polyacrylic. And yes, you do see red in my hand. So this is Dixie's Belle's Barn Red, and I did that one little cubby table that hasn't sold yet, but I think $125 is a great price for that, but it just takes the right person to come along and want it out of our booth. So anyway, I absolutely love this red in color. So what I'm doing here is this is just going to be one of those hidden colors that's going to peek through, because I'm going to do that same white crackle effect, but I'm just going to do random splotches of this red barn Dixie Belle paint. I don't think I could be as confident this time not getting paint on my roof. So I definitely took the time to tape it off. So now I'm going in with that glue again, and I'm just doing a thin coat of glue on. I did have to add a little bit of water to it, not too much, only to help it go on a little bit better. So I'm just trying to make a nice even coat. So when we go to put our white paint over and it crackles, we should be able to see the black and the red through it. Let my glue dry for a bit until it got that where it wasn't just completely wet. It has a little bit of a film on top of it so that it's not just the paint and the glue are not just mixing in together. So it's supposed to be you just go over it once if I can. I'm trying. But so I'm trying to go up and then I'm trying to go down and meet in the middle here. So we'll see how that works. But I do have quite a bit. It's supposed to be one coat on it, so I do have quite a bit of paint on my brush. This is definitely one of those projects you have to trust the process. I threw this on my Instagram story to ask if this was a hot mess or potential. Most people saw potential. I think one person said it was a hot mess, but with a laughing emoji. But yes, I definitely have to trust the process and let it completely dry. Because if you start messing with it, all you're going to do is goop up your paint. Life lesson learned from the first couple times I've tried this. So now after it is completely dried, and I actually let it dry overnight to make sure that it was good and dry, and it's got that beautiful crackle on it, I'm just taking some sandpaper, making sure that there's no big glumps, there's no anything to, I know it's a birdhouse, but I still want it to be smooth. And if I feel like some of the ways that I had to swipe my paintbrushes, I could kind of see like going on the side of the roof, that angle, I'm going to go back in and take some more paint and just fix it. It can always be painted. If I hated it, I could just paint right over it. But I think it's very fun, especially on a birdhouse. I love, 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 love seeing that red and black underneath there. So now I need to attach the finial to that metal rod that's hanging at the top of, sticking out of the top of these birdhouses. So it's a 2-part epoxy, so you mix it together. And I know it says JB Weld wood. I don't really know why. We bought these at a hardware store that was going out of business, but so far I have been using it and it works just the same as the other JB Weld. So you mix it together. You got to work fast because it does start to set up. And so I just filled that little hole of the finial, put it look at that God wink moment. It slides right on top. I love the rust patina. I protected that rod when I was spraying it so that I did not change that color. And now I'm just going to put some masking tape on it for its clamp to hold it in place. Now to replace the little twigs that were used as the purchase, I'm using these vintage looking square nails that Chris had picked up at Habitat a while ago. Perfect replacement. I don't even have to re-drill a hole. They fit in there. So I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue and stick them in. That I have all those little details finished, I'm going to seal this whole thing in with some polyacrylic. Okay, so what did you think? I hope you enjoyed the video of me putting all the Crackle techniques down into one video. This one was a short little video. I haven't done a ton of it, but I absolutely thought that if I had a video on it, that it would be easier just to go back through and re-watch this video than it is that hour-long thrift haul makeover video for you all. So give me a comment down below. Do you like this little recap? It would be kind of fun. I love doing the makeovers and thrift hauls, but I know it's a lot of techniques. So give me a comment down below if you like these type of videos of me recapping a certain technique down into one video.